Yes, he is. Good evening. I'd like to call the village board meeting for the Village of Cary for August 16th, 2022 to order with roll call, please.
Weinhammer? Here. McAlpine?
Here.
Cavelli? Here. Collier?
Here.
Dudek?
Here.
Walrath?
Here.
Thank you. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay. Just a process order, I will entertain a motion to allow trustee Rick Walrath to attend via Zoom due to a work commitment.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Cavelli? Yes. Dudek?
Yes.
McAlpine?
Yes.
Weinhammer? Yes. Collier?
Yes.
Thank you. Welcome, Rick. Sorry about that. Now moving to the open forum where the public is invited to make an issue-oriented comment on any matter of public concern not otherwise on the agenda. I'm not aware of anybody here that's anybody want to address the village board other than what they're here to talk about? Okay, I'll go ahead and close open forum at 6:02. A couple things on the mayor's report. We have a couple of employee recognitions, neither which are here. Deborah Kempf, she's been with the police department for 1 year.
Aaron's here.
Oh, Aaron's here? Oh. Right okay. Well, Deborah can't be here, and Aaron is here, so if you want to meet me up front, please. Front center. It's all about you today. Wow, you sweated it out. You made it your first year, huh? Yes, yes. Well, congratulations. Thank you. What you carry, get your little pin that you wear proudly. I appreciate that. I'm sure Eric has some glowing reports about you.
No, yes, I can't believe it's been a full year, but we're really appreciative of Aaron joining our team. He's a proud member of our wastewater division, the few, the proud. They obviously are responsible for a lot of things, and he appreciates keeping those wipes out of the pipes that we've been promoting lately, especially. But Aaron comes to us with some experience from the Park District, and particularly in their pools. So he's gone from clean water and keeping things nice and clean and pristine to keeping the other water clean. So we appreciate your efforts and many more years of service to come, I'm sure.
Moving on to the trustee reports, I'm not aware of any, so we'll go ahead and move on to the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda items A through G as shown on the village's website and is displayed on the video monitor during the village board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dudek?
Yes.
Weinhammer? Yes. McAlpine?
Yes.
Cavelli? Yes. Walrath?
Yes.
Collier?
Yes.
Thank you. And the next thing I have under items for separate action, I will entertain a motion to approve a resolution authorizing and approving the proposed redevelopment agreement with True North Properties for village-owned property at 441 West Main Street, subject to final review by the village attorney and conditioned upon the village's acceptance of a bid to purchase this property from True North Properties and approval of purchase and sale agreement with True North Properties.
So moved.
Second.
Are you taking this, Courtney?
Village Board, before you, you have a redevelopment agreement that has been crafted by staff and True North Properties for the 441 West Main Street, the old senior center. With this agreement, it's to, we've talked about this a few times now, and this is just the next step in that process. You will see that this agreement is conditioned upon the village's acceptance of the bid to purchase the property, which will be opened at the second September meeting. And it's also conditioned upon the approval of the purchase and sale agreement, which would come after that as well. Happy to answer any questions about the agreement.
Can I add one thing? Since I worked on the agreement with village staff, is this close enough?
No, it's got to be closer.
Even closer. I don't know if you've had a chance to read the agreement. It's lengthy. If you haven't, it does not approve a project at this point. It approves essentially the development steps and commitments that the developer is willing to commit to, and the corresponding commitments from the village. The core aspect of the project, which is will be the site plan, has yet to be completed and submitted to the village and will be submitted in the future. That is part of and set forth in the agreement itself.
Thank you. Again, part of the process.
Thanks, Scott. And he wasn't looking for kudos, but I do think Scott deserves some kudos on this project. And putting together this document is rather lengthy here. Appreciate our efforts too by our partners at True North Properties. A lot of back and forth and I guess changes that we've made over the last week or so, and so appreciate everyone's work, both True North Properties and the village attorney.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
I do have a couple of questions. So I don't recall, and if we did, when the gentlemen were here the last time, decide on kind of a layout. Well, first off, did we decide on the layout, or did we just decide on the number of buildings?
That hasn't been
That hasn't been
decided yet.
determined yet. No.
Okay.
They're going to
all
be going through the zoning
So-
process.
And the layout is not included in this agreement.
right. Okay, but there is a representative diagram of the layout that's included here.
That's a part of the next item. So
Yes.
Director
Okay.
Simmons is going to be going over that. So that is kind of a part of this, but a separate item where they're going through the plan unit development process and they have to ask for
Okay.
certain waivers.
I'll save my comments then.
Well, with that said, there is one aspect of the site plan that the developer is committed to, and that I assume the village board remains committed to, and that is the restoration of the existing building. So
So then
that's step one.
Okay, so then I do have and again, I'm looking at the page numbers, so maybe my comment relates to the second piece. You know, we've struggled with the senior center for a long time, and as I read the timeline, it seems like the deliverable is gonna be everything all at one time, where in my mind, I would like to see the senior center renovated, completed, and open for occupancy, and then move to a second phase to do the rest. But again, if that's conversation for the next piece, then so be it.
Well, part of the original conversation was that we were going to move forward and approve the restoration of the actual senior center into the 4-unit luxury apartments. And then that's what the developer wanted to do as well. And then we would attack the potential additional buildings on that same site. So that's the developer's first priority, is to restore the senior center.
So is the 4-unit buildings still then, the completion date May of 2024? Just that building alone?
I don't think so, but I think a lot of this will be flushed out during the ZPA process because they still need to go through that.
Their schedule, Trustee Dudek, so in Exhibit D of the redevelopment agreement, has those dates for other board members too, if you want to follow along. It's a rather, I would say, aggressive schedule, but I do believe that in speaking with the developer and having numerous conversations with them is that they want to take care of this all at once. They're not interested in phasing the project, so they want to be doing the redevelopment of the senior center building and also building these 2 3-story buildings at approximately the same time. They don't want to be coming back, a year or 2 years later and do the 2 3-story buildings.
But the first priority is the original building.
That's part of the
That's
project.
changed. That's changed.
That is part of the project. So the interior remodeling of the old school building, their goal, again, I think it's a little aggressive, but their goal is early in 2023, and then the work on the rest of the project is looking at the 3-story buildings of April 2023.
But all of these will be dependent
Right.
upon village approval.
Right.
So they'll
And
still
the
go through
zoning
the process.
So, I mean, at this point, we're just looking to approve step A, the first step.
At this point, we're just saying, we want to work together with
Right.
you
Correct.
on this,
Correct.
to put in simple terms.
Okay, any other questions? Rick, does that satisfy your curiosity?
Yeah, well, yes and no.
Well, let us know.
Again, I think we have, as I just said, we have sat for a long time with an undeveloped building. And there's, I'm not in construction, but to renovate a 4-unit property and have it available to rent, May 20, that's 2 years. It seems like that's a long time. Maybe I'm way off, so, our building community can help me, but that seems like a long time.
They were talking about, at one of our meetings, about supply chain issues. I'm speaking into my.
Or perhaps they would like to address, kind of answer that. Can we engage and ask some of those questions if that's something you need to address at this point?
May of 2024. Apartments available, apartment rental, that's what it says. Okay. I just think 2 years seems like a long time, so that was my comment. I have no other questions.
Yeah, well, one of the things that was just brought up here, because I thought originally that the developer wanted to complete the senior center first, get his approvals and then move to, did you want to come up and discuss that?
Hello.
So
Hello,
could you just
everybody.
state your name and address,
My
please?
name is George Ramchuk, and I'm with True North Property. And yes, I heard the question. The question is the timing. I think the permit, realistically, if everything goes really, really, based on my experience, we're not going to get any permit issued by building department until January, February, because it takes them 30 days, go through the review, fire department, everybody else. By the time that comes right back, it's probably 60 days, 45 days until these plans are submitted. Now, the purchase of the property, I don't know when that would happen. Then the plans to submit, that would take 30 days minimum to draw it and do it. So I think realistically, the permits would come out like April. Now, I can get the building done, which I was stating, by, let's say, 2 months inside, 3 the most. The problem is the garages, the parking lot, the driveway. Now, if there is going to be additional building on that site, it just makes no sense to tear up the yard again and do the whole thing again. And whole project, I was looking about 13 months, which I think it's pretty short. From the permit until, I think it's pretty short, even on anything to build today, 13 months is really short. That's what I was looking realistically. I don't want to, if I can get it done in 10, I will, but if it doesn't get done, then I don't. And then we have the winter period within these months, which outside can't finish it, which garages and the new buildings is kind of same thing. If I have to build, because luxury apartment, that means I have to have 4-car garage for the first 4 units. Now, that tears up the site. I got to go through engineering, storm, and then dig the site out, and would be just normal to do it all together instead to get the garage in. If the garage is not an issue, the interior, 60 days, I'll knock that down, no problem. But because we have the site to work, I think 13 months from the day I get the permit, that won't be that long. Now, it looks calendaristic year, but it doesn't go a whole year. It just goes the spring of 24, and that's the worst case scenario. But again, I can do it either way. I can just do the
It just
interior
makes,
and-
you make a great case. It makes sense.
Right,
That makes
that's
sense.
the only thing. Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Cavelli?
Yes.
Weinhammer?
Yes.
Walrath?
Yes.
Dudek?
Yes.
McAlpine?
Yes.
Collier?
Yes.
Thank you. And regarding this situation as well, I will entertain a motion to approve a waiver of certain application requirements for the planned development application related to the development of the 441 West Main Street property, formerly known as the Senior Center.
So moved.
Second.
Director Simmons, you taking this?
Sure. The village board, as this, just another component of this project, as it will have to go through the zoning process for zoning entitlements. Because the property or the proposed project will have multiple buildings on a single lot, it does require approval as a PUD under our zoning regulations. So this evening, as part of the petition to begin that portion of the process, the developer is asking for certain waivers of the PUD application requirements that wouldn't generally apply towards a project of this small of a scale. Generally, our PUD requirements are for any properties that are 2 acres or greater in size, or larger tracts of land. In this case, it's under 1 acre, but they do have multiple buildings on the one lot. It does require the PUD approval. So the waivers that they're asking approval of before going through the zoning process, there are 6 items in the application requirements. One is for a traffic study. The other is for an economic analysis study, environmental statement, village services demand analysis, the off-site utility improvement plan, and a drainage plan are all proposed to be requested to be waived for this project. Again, if the project were larger in scale, some of these items would be more warranted, but due to the 1 acre and less size of the property, staff concurs they would not be necessary for this project. The property would be required to comply with all of our local regulations for zoning, but also for the development of the property. So as they improve the property according to the preliminary site plan that's shown on the slide, this time during the permit process, if they receive zoning entitlement approvals, would have to comply with stormwater regulations for the property, but wouldn't require an off-site drainage plan as per the PUD requirements. So staff recommends support of the requested waivers and the beginning of the zoning process from there.
Well, that was my one concern that I had was with the drainage plan, so we're okay with that then. Any other questions on this? Roll call, please.
Walrath,
Yes.
Collier,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Weinhammer,
Yes.
Dudek,
Yes.
Cavelli,
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to Administrator's report, Administrator Rife.
Mayor, Village Board, the Rotary has a pretty fun event here coming up in September. So craft beer event that they're going to be hosting out at Rotary Park, September 17th from 1 to 5. So I think we've got information out on Facebook. We'll have some information out on Cary News Weekly for how people sign up for this event. But really excited to see this happen here for the first year.
Thank you. Chief Finland?
Yeah, just a reminder that on Friday, August 19th, we'll be participating in the statewide Cop on a Rooftop event. It'll be from 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. We'll have members of our department, in addition to members of the Citizen Police Academy, assisting us with selling merchandise for Special Olympics and also soliciting donations that will be submitted to the Special Olympics Illinois.
Thank you. Director Morimoto?
Thank you, Mayor. As everyone's aware, we are working to try and complete our North Commuter Lot Resurfacing project. Given the recent flood of projects that are now resuming after this summer's slowdown from the lack of aggregate out there, we're still working with our contractor to get a new date set. So we apologize for the start and stop of the announcements, but the contractor, as soon as they're able to resume work and start milling those far north lots, will give us a new schedule and we'll get the word out.
Thank you. Director Simmons?
No updates.
Thank you. Any future agenda items and discussion by the village board? None said. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? We are adjourned at 6:20.